Today we continue working with the fit and flare skirts. Today we're going to talk about the crazy fit and flare design. When I say crazy fit and flare, I mean that it's very huge. Those of you who don't like the word crazy can say huge, but I prefer to call it crazy. Today I'll design such a 6-gore skirt for myself. 17 centimeters from the waist will be straight, and then we'll start the flare. Have a look at the picture. Here are the waist, the hips, and then, on the level of 17 centimeters down from the waist, starts the half-circle flare. Now imagine we have 6 half-circle gores. The skirt will be of a 3-circle shape. It will take a lot of fabric. Anyway, I like such skirts, they suit me. Even though such skirts are very wide, they don't make me look fat because they're straight at the hips. Let's get back to the design. I've showed you 4 types of the fit and flare skirts. We were designing them using the basic pattern, which had different measurements at the front and at the back. For myself, I can design one gore and copy it. I know my body, so I can design the gores without a pattern. Not everyone can do it, but you already know how to divide the basic pattern into the gores. If you can design the gores without a pattern, you're welcome. If not, make one. Here's our skirt. The waist is 104 centimeters, so 1/6 is 17.4. The hips are 116 centimeters, so 1/6 is 19.4. The length of the skirt is 63 centimeters. 17.4 centimeters is the width of the gore, and we need to know its half. When we start designing, the warp thread will be right in the middle, so we'll be working only with the half. So we need 8.7 centimeters on the waist and 9.7 centimeters on the hips. Now we start designing the gore. All the 6 gores will be the same. In this video, I'll show you how to make such a gore and to work with such a huge flare. The edge of the gore goes straight down. Then we have a smooth angle. I showed you how to do it, and after it the line is transverse. You can make it less wide. It will still be crazy, but not as crazy as mine. I want to draw your attention to the fact that this is the warp thread and this is the transverse thread, so you won't have any difficulties with the seams. It would be much harder to sew and iron the seams which are not warp or transverse. The fabric consumption is the 6th length of an item. We need to cut out 6 gores, so we'll need 6 pieces of fabric, 63 centimeters each. Of course, we can combine the pieces, add the detachable parts, but I don't really like that. I'd better cut out a real crazy fit and flare gore. Fold the graph paper in half. I have about 60 centimeters here. You can choose the length for this line yourself. This is the center of a gore. Here's the waistline. 15 centimeters lower, mark the hips. My hips are even higher, but I leave some space for designing. And now measure 63 centimeters down from the waistline and mark the length of the skirt. Just like that. Now we need to transfer our measurements to the waist and the hips. The half of the 1/6 of the waist is 8.7 centimeters. I also mark 9.7 centimeters on the hips. 9.7 centimeters. Look how I do it. Now draw a line here. Each of you will get a different line. I sign all the lines I draw. 8.7 centimeters here and 9.7 centimeters here. Let's move on. Now measure 17 centimeters from the waist and mark the beginning of the flare. Draw it to the edge of the graph paper. Be very attentive. This line is 17 centimeters long. Now, let's have a look at the picture. The line should be 63 centimeters long from the waist till the edge, as well as this line. I'll tell you how to measure it. The whole length should be 63 centimeters long, so we need to find out the length of this part. This line is 17 centimeters long, as well as this one, so we need to find this line. 63 centimeters minus 17 centimeters, that's how we get 46 centimeters. You'll see the gore soon. I took just 60 centimeters of the graph paper and it's end to end. We smooth the angle a bit here as usual. The first line, waist, the second, hips, and the third, the beginning of the flare. And the last one, bottom line. Be very attentive, guys. We draw a line from this point to the bottom, right to the bottom line. The bottom of this part of a skirt is straight, but this square part will be in the shape of a circle quarter. We should have 46 centimeters here. Let's check. I don't know why, but I have 47 centimeters here. I'll fix it. Guys, do not forget to check everything. Now have a look here. This line should be as long as this one. Now draw a quarter of a circle here. Make the beam-like moves and draw a quarter of a circle. 46 centimeters here, and here, and here, and so on. Once again, we need to draw a line in the shape of a circle quarter in between these two lines. When we unfold the graph paper, we'll have a crazy fit and flare. Have a look here. I'm sharing the experience with you. If you divide the angle in half, you'll find the bias thread, which is at the angle of 45 degrees towards the warp thread. You can take 1 centimeter away from here and change the line a bit. Here is our new line. Draw it this way. Don't be afraid to do that. We don't need these marks anymore. That's all. Let's cut the gore out. You'll see it in full size when I cut it out. I cut it with the over measure for the seams. I think it's a good decision. So that I don't forget to do it later. Do not forget that we can't overcast the edges of the feet and flare skirts. Process it with an overlock or with a rolled seam. I know myself, so I don't add anything here. You can do it. 1 centimeter for a seam, for example. It's easier to do it at the moment because I'm making 6 equal gores. Here I have a half of a gore. I have all the measurements written here. Now I unfold the gore and you can see how it should look like. Just like that. I'll make 6 such gores. I already added the over measures for the seams. This is just the first gore of my crazy fit and flare skirt. Nowadays, a lot of young girls believe that the less fabric they put on, the more attractive they are. Don't be afraid of the white skirts. Put a tight blouse and the white skirt on. You will look much more attractive than when you're almost naked. I don't understand why people are afraid to wear white clothes nowadays. The fashion is so different now. Tight clothes are in trend, white clothes are in trend. We are free to wear whatever we want. I forgot to draw a warp thread. The fault was on the warp thread. Sign it here. Make any flare you want from the hips. You can combine the fabrics and the designs. Use your imagination. That's all for today. In the next video, we'll cut the skirt out, take it, and I'll put it on. We're Paukštė Irina and Yastribov Alexei. Subscribe to our channel. Goodbye.